The other day, I was speaking to somebody that I know that's been going through a lot of different struggles over the past year, and I went into the topic of, well, how's that going and what progress have you made? And it was really interesting because one of the things that I started to realize is that this person had actually not really made any progress over the past month, over the past 2 months, over the past 6 months, or even over the past year. And whilst this might sound like an isolated episode, this is just a bit of context to a wider issue that you see in society and in people as a whole. So many people claim to have these issues that they desperately want to change, and they go for months, if not years, without making any progress towards it. I faced a similar situation around about 3-4 months ago now, where I had a lot of different issues, not just related to money, but related to all different sorts of fronts. And now, fast forward from, I would say, about August to December, and we are now good, right? I've got a decent amount of money, I'm making progress in life, and I'm happy with the way that things are going. And it's funny because 3 short months and so much has changed. Literally, my life has almost changed beyond recognition, I would say. And you speak to other people where this is not the case, and they've had perhaps smaller issues or bigger issues. It's not my place to judge, but the progress is not there. And this is what a lot of people, especially young people, don't realise. Not only is nobody coming to save you, but nothing will change unless you need it to. And this is exceptionally important. For me to solve all of my problems in, I would say, about 3-4 months, took a lot of challenge. It took a lot of facing a lot of difficult personal subjects. It took a lot of hard work, physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, all these different things it took, right? It took stress, it took determination, it took drive. There was days where I didn't do anything that I wanted at all, and it was just work, whether it was in my job or my businesses. And I know a lot of people will say, well, that's just standard, and I would say it is to an extent. But here's the same thing, right? Most people will be in that position, and you look at the progress that they're making, you ask them what they're doing. Oh, well, I don't have time for my hobbies. How am I going to play Xbox if I'm at the gym all day? How am I going to, I don't know, watch a movie if I'm at work 12 hours? And the sense of urgency there is just not apparent at all. If you want to change something in your life, and this is relative to anybody, show it in the way that you move. You want to get fit. What are you doing? Are you cutting your diet? Are you bulking up? Are you working out? Are you running? Are you weight training? You want to get rich or make some money? What are you doing? Are you working longer? Are you investing? Are you building businesses? Are you saving? Are you cutting costs? So many people do not approach life with a sense of urgency. And we've spoken about this before, why this is exceptionally important. Because people get to 25, 30 and nothing changes, and they are still in the same place. But 3 months was enough for me to get out of a financial hole, and to be fair, there was a lot of other things that I don't necessarily want to even discuss on the channel. But 3 months. And I know that's my survivorship bias coming into play, and I know I'm probably fortunate in the fact I've got certain things playing out for me, but the fact of it is, life doesn't work unless you do. And I don't mean on a job, I don't mean in the gym, I mean overall. If you want to change your life, change it like your life depends on it, because it does. You will not probably die if you don't change, your habits or your financial prospect, but your livelihood will likely depend on it. So you need to approach it like your life depends on it. Well, I don't know if I can move out of this flat that I don't like. I've been in it for a year. I don't know if I can move out of living with my parents' house because it's difficult. Just imagine, right? Look at the UK, right? People are able to move to the UK, rightly or wrongly, out of exceptionally difficult circumstances. They find any route to get out of their country and move abroad, right? If you were trying to escape a war zone, you would have moved in 3 months, probably, or possibly. Or even if you wouldn't have, you would have probably made a much more solid effort than, but life's tough. I have to work 4 days a week. Well, if you save correctly and invest, that can be a short-term thing. If you build a business on the side, that can be a short-term thing. But people don't approach these issues with a sense of urgency, and this is desperately needed because you will get a shock when nothing changes. So if you have not changed in 6 months, what are you doing? What are you doing? And here's the thing, right? I have certain ideas, and I'm a big believer of show it, don't say it. So I don't need to tell you guys about my aspirations. I'm going to show you when I've done it, right? That's a big thing for me. But I have plans for the next 6 months, the next year. I had plans 3 months ago, 6 months ago. And yeah, things change, but if your situation, if you are in a desperately bad situation, or a depressing situation, or an isolating situation, or a bad job, or a bad career, or a bad house, or a bad place, and you have not made any progress, any meaningful progress to change it in 3 to 6 to 12 months, what have you been doing? And this sounds like a harsh talk. Yes, it is. But this is, I think, really, really a big deal and something that a lot of people need to hear. But then people kid themselves with two things. Number one is tiny progress being seen as a massive win, and number two is excuses. Number one, tiny progress. Let's have a think about that. So it might be, I've saved up £500 in 6 to 12 months. Small wins, yeah, and if you have no disposable income, but the same people will be working 2 days a week, 3 days a week. What do you want? You pick what you want, right? You can pick there. You can work 1 to 2 extra days and save maybe an extra, what, £100 a month? £200 a month? Maybe more? If you work 5 days a week. When I needed money badly, I was working 6 days a week. And now I work 1. People might say I've gone lazy, I'm giving up. I am not giving up, but I don't need to essentially almost, I don't want to say almost kill myself because it wasn't that hard, but I don't need to waste all of my days doing that. I've got online businesses, I've got investments, I've got savings. But at the same time, if I didn't have that, I would be on it, and I can say this with certainty because I did. Look at the growth that I've made on this channel in the past 2 months, 3 months, since I decided to make that shift, right? So number one is looking at tiny progress as huge progress. You could have made so much more progress in a lot of cases in a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year even. And option two is excuses. Well, I can't find a new job, the economy's tough, so there's no point trying. Well, living in this old flat's getting me down. Well, even if I try, I'll never be able. What do you know? What have you done, right? The world is a tough place, yes, no lie about that. Never not been the case. At the same time, what have you done? And the truth of it is, this message is not going to hit hard for a lot of people because a lot of people are on their purpose. A lot of people are getting by. A lot of people are trying their best. But you know if you're not. You know if you are not winning. You know if you are not trying. And you know if you are in the same spot that you were in 6 months to a year ago, and how that makes you feel. And at that rate of progress, when is stuff going to change? Another year? Another 2 years? Another 3 years? And then people don't like to make this jump. Well, working 6 days like you do, or did, is going to be painful. Yeah, it was. It was very painful. But I had two choices. Number one is to carry on being broke and unsuccessful at that time period. It was a short period in time, and I've discussed it in extensive detail before. But you have that choice, or you have maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months of pain, and then you've got maybe a year, right? Maybe you can travel, maybe you can move out, maybe you can buy a car, whatever it is. Maybe you can invest, maybe you can start a business. I don't know. But this is a worrying trend for a lot of people, and not enough people treat life with a sense of urgency until it's too late. And when it's too late, as the saying kind of indicates, it's too late. You need to move like you need to get a new job. You need to move like you need to get a new place. You need to move like you need to have X amount of money in savings. And you can't stop until you've done it. And maybe this is just me and my personal understanding, but so many people I know, and this is why it kind of frustrates me, this is why I can get so emotional about the topic, is because I know of people who live like this. They do not try. anywhere near as hard as they could. You need to focus on your goals like life depends on it. And people say, well, I'd be giving up 6 months of my life. If you are broke or inexperienced or unhealthy or whatever it is for you, you already know that you're not living the life that you could be or should be. So you are giving up your life in a different way now. And I don't give life advice. I don't give that kind of knowledge or information. But if this relates to you, you know who you are, right? And nothing will change unless you decide to start taking an approach where everything has a sense of urgency.